Alright, let's get this train wrecker rolling, shall we? Shall we? Blah. I am tired, but I have work to do. I can't... The sooner I get this done, the sooner I can play test it. What are we doing today, you ask? Well... Arint's negotiation cards. I've got them sort of planned out in my spreadsheet of power, in my design skeleton. It's prototype versions, from the commons to the rares, but they're not in the game yet. Only the revamped basic deck is in the game, and if we were to play Arint right now, she would still not draft any cards, and her basic deck is now significantly weaker. Mostly because she doesn't have a basic card that attacks twice anymore. So... sooner I get these 40 more cards into the game proper, sooner I can test them, play them, and figure out where the design needs more work. But first I need to get it into people's hands. So today is just going to be a lot of coding. I've already pre-planned the card's functionality, but in terms of actually turning that into code, I've barely started. So there'll be a bit, and I am just coming off of doing the battle card revamp, which is done. All those cards are in the game and they work, but now I have to kind of shift gears for the negotiation engine, and it's... a lot of it functions the same, but in almost every way that matters, it is completely different line by line. So... we're going to go down the list. We may skip over some of the more complicated ones, so I don't waste too much time on stream for that. And we are just going to... we're only going to do the base forms of the draft cards. We're not going to do the full versions with the upgrades, because it's less cards to test. And the goal is to see if, like, the base versions are worth the drafting. So we are going to start with that. It's been a while since I've done cards. The last time I did a card programming stream was... oh goodness, it's probably like the first one, right? It was just battle cards for Arint. And that was like the very first draft for the preview build. So... what am I doing? Alright. Tired and nervous is going to take me so I can get into the groove. Icon... Amnesty. One of the things that's... a lot of the stuff is actually staying from the preview build, but it's been sort of reorganized. But one of the things that's staying is that Arint's core ability is that for every bounty and inception she has, all of her cards get a damage bonus, which is pretty powerful. So a number of her cards are going to revolve around giving herself bounties that you may or may not want destroyed, but or you may want to protect, because if they're destroyed, destroyed. It'll be not great, but in the meantime, you get a damage bonus. This is our common cards. For that, we're going to need a condition that belongs pretty much solely to this card. This functions similarly to the Hesh Priest Bounty Tithe. See, on... Oh yeah, it's gonna need... Actually, Tithe is in here somewhere, right? Yeah, I can just... Let's go ahead and make that just part of the description function in case I need to change it later. Didn't say this was going to be the most entertaining stream on planet Earth, but these never are. Well, that should do it, but we'll find out if it actually compiles. Hey, hello. That's not how that works. I can probably do without that part. I'm curious now. If something has been... Can you not just reference a... You should be able to reference a condition that that shares the same ID type. So why isn't that working? Oh, because I wrote condition instead of modifier. Ah. That's why. Because I'm still partially in battle engine mode, where these things are called conditions instead of modifiers. Oh, okay. There we go. Alright, let's see if that works. Oh, I didn't give it a max resolve. That's a little awkward. Well, let's give, yeah, just one. All right. Let's try that again. That should be better now. That would just... We're just gonna put it into our hand. Alright, hit me. Alright, and that should... That should heal you. Every argument. That is technically true. Every argument, that is to say a blue argument. Do I want that to mean every bounty and... Get modifier count, how does that work? Modifier type. Ah, yeah, it makes sense. Is there a similar function that would work? Want or need to change it. I mean, it's basically be destroy this and your opponent heals for 2 or more depending on how many real arguments you have, so I'm just worried about the wording confusion. Because argument is slightly interchangeable with bounties and inceptions and sort of that count there, but I guess I might as well try and enforce the convention. And it makes it so it's not immediately terrible if you have a whole bunch of bounties and inceptions. So yeah, that's probably fine. I think we can call that good. Alright, next one. Alright. Does this apply to every modifier, or just every argument? This is where I'm starting to worry about the inconsistency. What icon did I pick for you? When I went shopping, it's Bluff. So one of Arint's archetypes is to worry a lot about argument destruction. Not self-destruction like Smith, but argument destruction for the opponent. But I don't actually know how this effect works in code, so I'm going to need to look that up. Oh, well, there we go. Look at that. Now. Well, this is a side effect. It's not the main target. Here we go. Collect allied targets. There we go. Alright, we also need the composure amount. Alright, that should do it. I'm gonna say that every single time, but... Alright. What are we doing? Yeah, this should be consistent. Should be every friendly argument? Oh, language ambiguity, it's killing me. Alright. That's enough of this thing, come on. Alright, well, let's test it.
Vas à salle. Sapote.
Let's see, let's go with... Yeah, let's see, there we go. Now, why does that card exist? Well, as a Arint has a few more cards that can use Composure as a resource, so... having just regular Composure generators on random arguments can eventually become useful. That's the idea. That works. Next card. Don't dwell. And this is basically the same type of deal. Argument destruction plus influence generation. Oh, these are much simpler. They don't require, like, animations and whatnot. They don't all require damage. a solid point, I'm pretty sure. Oh, I like how much faster this is going than the battle cards. Being able to test them on without having to do a whole bunch of character swapping is helping a bit. All right, naturally. Show me the money. Not that. How about you just have... Nice. Okay. Next on our list, poise. More influence for composure, because that's kind of what the diplomacy thing is trying to do. Certainly at the common level. But that basic I need, because kind of the same as a plum. Didn't intend to end up with cards that were kind of similar to other cards, but in some cases it ended up being like, you know, in the lexicon of the game, you end up solving problems in similar ways. That should be... Just need some flags to make this work, right? Yeah. Odd team, auto target. There we go. That's an uncommon effect. Should this be at common? Now that I'm thinking about it. Probably should be a smaller influence cost. Common, certainly, yeah. You don't really need one influence to pull something off at common. That should do. Again, prototype. Trying to create a synergy between different archetypes at the common level, so that you're breaking parity faster. And having all of this composure should be important for later. That's the thing about... The further I've gotten into prototyping these cards, the less confident I've gotten in the design, but at least I can point at every part of the design and be like, this is why this exists. But the true test will definitely be like, how does it play in a draft environment? But at least implementing them over and over, looking over them over and over again gives me a chance to be like, so does this actually work? In theory, that should just work.
شكوتك.
That. Yeah, there we go. Do they do both prereq and can play card in the code? They do. I really want you to notice. That's interesting. That's not sort of how I've been doing a lot of my cards. Prereq is the thing that makes the glow happen. Can play card just keeps it dim if it doesn't work. But they do both here. I'm kind of curious if they do that everywhere. At least on cards that require a cost. No, they don't. I don't think I will either. I want it to glow that it's active and playable, not that it's like, oh, here's the special effect. No, it's the regular effect. I think I'm just gonna make that call. Anyway, this should just work. It doesn't. Local delta. What's local delta? Oh, right, it's because this value here says composure, not composure amount, because I, you know, in classic copying someone else's homework fashion, changed only part of the references. Let's try that again. There we go. Yeah, it works. Wide influence is pretty powerful, but at a low amount and especially at a higher difficulty that Arint will be starting at generally. Well, the balance will make itself known. Alright, I'm gonna call that good. I should just leave one left. And it's just a heal for helping keep arguments alive when they're under fire. But how useful is it? This might be not a great card. Or it could help a larger argument with more health be kind of busted. I don't know. Okay. I mean, it could also heal yourself, is the thing, so there's that kind of power. So it's actually kind of busted. Pay one action, heal to resolve. Yeah, I can see that being bad. Did I spell authoritative right both times? Alright. It is very nice to start seeing these come to life. Let's take some damage. And spawn a few of the new cards. And no further. Yeah, that could be pretty busted. Wonder if one would be more fair. At least to start. Try that. Alright. Well, that'll be our, that'll be our basic diplomacy cards, so now we go to the manipulate cards. Alright. Some of the more aware viewers of the Griftlands deck at this point might know that, hey, this is kind of one of Smith's cards. In fact, it's an upgraded version of one of Smith's cards. Again, another instance of coming up with a card idea that turned out to already exist because it solves many of the same problems. But it also works in this skeleton design, so, you know. Let's do over, right? All right. How do you discard cards again? What are the arguments for discard cards? Is that not an engine? What is that nil standing for? Like a min and max? Oh, it's a min and max. Okay. For when you have up to card effects. Got it. Well, that should just work. Yep. Works as intended. You'd be amazed how much, like, every battle card, there was something that needed to be addressed, especially with My mechanics for how my battle cards work out. A lot of conditionals. A lot of stuff. And the game is a bit simpler. For now. Alright, now we start getting a bit more complicated. So... Alright, this is based off a Smith card. It's basically this thing. Fixate, but better. Or worse, depending. Yeah, that should do. It's probably a stream you should be watching for learning how to make cards well, Wumpus. Maybe. I'm kind of skipping over a lot of the nitty-gritty of how these functions actually work if you're not a programmer. I'm just trying to get them done. In bulk. And you can see a lot of it's copy-pasting from cards that do similar things. More than I expected, but then again, this has all been monkey see, monkey do, the project. Well, trying to see if there's anything wrong. It doesn't seem like it, so... Let's actually go to Arint for this one, for the test.
さ
Special.
Josopia Deshokepo Sogamia Suashienishe Belshuse Shopatio Sommakepe
Okay. Feel like that works.
Megepia
Yeah, that seems to work about right. That seems to work as expected. As you to slightly redistribute composure towards a target that needs it if you have enough. Or excess, even. Because composure is weird in that if it's not blocking the target you need, it's worthless. So a card that can actually manipulate it is potentially very powerful, assuming you are building a bunch of random excess composure, which this deck kind of will if you build it. I say that works. Where are we at? Anticipate. Number 3, planted evidence. Ooh, this is gonna be fun. Obviously, I'm taking inspiration from enemy negotiators because I think it'll be just a little bit cathartic to use their own tactics against them because you are the enemy now. So it's all caps planted evidence. Good, good, good. Now, the funny thing about planted evidence from the player's perspective is that it does basically nothing for... It deals damage equal to the number of stacks it has, but for a card to place it for one action, it's basically saying, when destroyed, deal 1 to, you know, X to Y damage, but you could also just easily have a card that's one action, deal X to Y damage. So what's the point of incepting this argument? Well, cards that have destruction effects. Makes it worthwhile. That is at least the idea. Here we go. This is a pretty simple effect. Self, anti. No, you are distracting. Self, anti-negotiator. Blah, blah, blah. Add modifier. Where do I create modifier here? Do I want? I do kind of want different ones, actually, don't I? Math, random, in, light, max, self. I do want it to be a new one every time for the purposes of the player's benefit. If it just stacks onto itself, it doesn't really help any, so. Launch. And drink, hydrate. Unable to sync your files for Griftlands with the Steam Cloud, okay. Oh. I was awfully warm and dehydrated, turns out. That should just work. Oh, yeah, I messed up. Yep. I had an inkling that I was doing something stupid. Self-plantman. Scope of functions. Data can only be passed through by function arguments. Everything outside doesn't exist until you reference it. And only if it was successfully passed along. This is how you can have things named the same thing in multiple tables. Well, now that I'm not doing a stupid thing. This is why you always test after making. There we go. How do you like it? Alright, that's a working card. Alright. Here we are going to create another bounty. Yeah, I probably don't need to do that so much. guess I've always found the bounties kind of fascinating. They make sense from a player perspective. Like, you know, these negotiators need weaknesses. But like, and you know, to incept them on yourself is like, oh, you better make sure that doesn't get blown up. But, you know, why would you ever put down a scruple or an opportunity or greedy if you were the player? Well, maybe you get something out of it. So Arint does. Alright, what's the icon I use for this one? It's greedy, of course. Where's carryover? I'm going to need... Yeah, I'm going to need one, the opposite of this. So I'm going to need my own version of this that does... Alright. Where were we at? Okay, then. this needs a max resolve. Let's go with 2. I suppose I might as well. That should do it. Never sure when I say that out loud. It's starting to annoy me that I just never sound sure when I say that out loud. Uh-huh. You are complaining about the fact that on-post resolve does not have a comma after it. Thank you. Reset, please. A lot of A words up front here. Let's see if this works. Gain the shills. One less action. Alright, that's pretty brutal. Not gonna lie. That could be an ugly one to deal with. But if you're hunting for more bounties to boost up your cards, maybe. At common, it's not going to be very attractive though, but you're going to see it a lot. Alright. That's Avarice. Backup. This is an interesting one. The idea behind backup. Well, this card is in your hand. Apply Composure to a random friend. Yeah. Where are the murder cards at? I'm suddenly curious. Because I'm pretty sure reputation preceding or something like that is what I'm looking for an example. basic negotiation. Gnome thug, that's it. Right, we can make this a friendly version. Does it have to be cost 0? That's curious. I guess unplayable doesn't really matter, but still. I guess it has to have some kind of cost or else it's going to assert. Yeah, okay. Might as well be cost 0. Okay. What icon did I use for you? Go between, alright. I ended up using a lot of Smith's cards. Card art for Arint's cards, which is kind of interesting. Made me think about like how they might be kind of similar in a few unusual ways. Arint can also be kind of like, let's say, passionately driven. Just did this effect, come on. Wow, I was really scared going into this, but knocking him down. Hell yeah. 10th card? I'll take it. Yeah, let's do it. Smith's card is also just funny. Which I didn't want to use a lot of Rook because Arint kind of hates Rook, but it's my first time making an unplayable card, so that should be interesting. That's the test UI screen. That's not what I wanted to press. Let's just go ahead and just put one of these in their hands. See what happens. Did that count itself? Did. No, it didn't. Because Sal already adds one. So it worked just fine. Now, I might say, okay, well, great. Two composure for a dead draw. Well... Alright, didn't actually draw 3 cards there because we only have 6 cards in this test, but still. Yeah, I'm giving Arint... I ended up giving Arint a draw archetype, which is weird to say because everyone benefits from card draw and deck acceleration, especially if you have a large deck. But it kind of suits Arint to be like, she's got backup and options and privilege. So the faster she can draw, the more dangerous she is. Especially flavorfully. I also needed another archetype, and draw kind of fit the hole in the skeleton. I'm just all over the place with words today. Alright, so that's the last basic, of those, which means we are down to the common hostility cards. I figure we'll get through these and then probably call it there because I'll have done 15 out of 40. And that'll be pretty good. Pretty good stopping point. I'll probably hit the 2-hour mark by then, so. And this stream will have accomplished what it wanted it to do, which is show off making some negotiation cards. And also, you know, give me a quick start in the pants. Quick, swift kick to the pants, rather. To get these negotiation cards done so I can, you know, open up for playtesting, which is the goal. Then I'm going to need graphs, and that's going to be a whole thing, but, you know, one thing at a time. This is pretty simple. It's Arint really is going to really like vulnerability, so... So instead of relying entirely on the improvised card that incepts vulnerability, Arint's just going to have one as a basic hostility card. It's going to be great. This is really happy music for these really mean cards I'm making. Keyword is hostile, not hostility. Hostility is not the actual card flag in the engine, it's hostile. Call that a pro tip. This one is really simple. There we go. Look at that. Getting our draft set together. It's starting to look real, isn't it? And this card needs to do one thing. There we go. I didn't really put together how much simpler the minigame really is much simpler because you're not potentially dealing with like 4 opponents. Your list, I mean, you've got multiple modifier targets, but like all the effects are a lot more focused and pronounced. Enunciation. Sorry, just kind of thinking for a second, like, yeah, the designing for negotiation cards is very kind of different. A lot of the card effects are a lot more pronounced and a lot less, like, granular in terms of their, like, the number of mechanics they have to juggle. And that's why you can kind of get away with having fewer negotiation cards in the pool than you do battle cards. And potentially fewer archetypes, but it kind of comes about to about the same amount of archetypes. You just kind of have like major archetypes and minor archetypes. Remind me to show you all my skeleton analysis. I did a lot of work just to get this far. I think I'll show that off a bit at the end. Design the skeletons. Good stuff. Alright, next up. Ignore, that's right. When you've incepted a bunch of stuff and it's kind of just piling up, I don't know if that's the best way to word that. Here we go. So, Arint's also heading for kind of a debuff deck. Kind of similar to Rook's battle debuff loadout. Debuffs are a currency to be spent, either for more damage or better debuffs. Or just to have all the compounding effects absolutely ruin them. Where's the target? There it is. Is there like a get stacks number here? You can just do negotiator by persuasion, right? No, it's a mini game. All right. And that is source, target, max. Can I do that as the target? I should probably check to look for an example. So for real? Oh. More examples than just doing it again, please. I should just do get core argument, huh? Yeah. Yeah, find core argument. Stacks, stacks. Ding. Okay. Yeah, that sounds about right. So that should target an inception, figure out how many stacks it has, remove it, and then deal damage to the core argument equal to the stacks removed. Probably the most clear way to say that. It's a little loosey-goosey with the with the lexicon, but oh well. Yeah, that works. And it's unbound, so if you get a high stack, that could become really strong. Or you can turn something into damage. I look forward to seeing how that breaks. Alright, what is next? Two more to go. Yeah, that's what I needed. Something calm. Does my mic sound okay? There were some buzzing problems at the end of the last Satisfactory stream. Bane? Surprised that worked out with the key drift. Another source of debuffery. If you're running frequent argument destruction. Pardon. Down here is Tyrannize. Targeting to resolve, right? Of the basic level of the basic level destruction effects, this is probably the most powerful, so I'm keeping the damage low to start. You have to boost it if you're going to get this to destroy something reliably. But if you can, you get free debuffs on the enemy. 33% damage reduction. Especially at higher difficulties, that can be kind of... wow. And of course, if you're building enough of it, you can use that in other ways. That's the idea. A little bit of work to get this rolling, but... So I need to copy what I did earlier. They're not all simple, but a lot of these are simpler than I expected, which is great. It's just taken a while to kind of get back in the groove. I love how legit that looks. Alright, let's try it out. Let's do evidence. What was the name I just did? It was combative, right?
Shukuteka. Shushutapa.
Look at that! That's a combo. Planted evidence doesn't really matter for the damage. It matters because it gives you a free argument to destroy for that effect. There's your basic, like, common level engine. All about undermining your opponent, their confidence, their arguments. Oh, yes, there we go. All right. Oh, thanks for the follow, War Devil. I'll admit, I'm surprised, but I'm greatly appreciative. Thank you. Howdy, howdy. All right. Am I using Unrelenting and Relentless in the same... Is that a name I'm already using? No, I'm using... I had a card named Relentless, but I changed it to Tenacity. Can't say I know anything about modding, but I love Griftlands. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of this game too, so to the point where I'm trying to make a humongous, like, mod the size of a small DLC for it. I've been working on this since, like, late September. And this is kind of the guts of the engine Lua I'm trying to tack onto. Putting it on the... We got a preview build up on the Steam Workshop. Basically making my own cards at the moment. Yep. So yeah, it's a lot of it's been a lot of code to get here, and I'm far from done, but I am making steady progress. All right. So for this one, let's resolve. Check there. Card. Card flags. Hostile, then... How does another card do this? Here we go. Get a random target from the other side. If there are targets, then apply. Actually, that should be damage amount, yeah. It's much simpler. Random targets, yep. Okay. That should work. Oopsie. Oh. So this is kind of supposed to be a reward for, like, going all in on hostility and dominance. It's basically just like basic draw acceleration with incidental damage. It's not something that's going to come up a huge amount. Not unless you try and force it. It's kind of a trap. The real bonus is that it's a draw card. Not a great one, but unless I made it 2. Nah, not at this stage. Let's just make sure it works. Let's put Robbie, probably.
Shushutapa.
Oh, that didn't work. No damage came out there. Well, time to do some debugging. Check bits, card blanks hostile. Isn't that? That's probably it, isn't it? Is that how they do it even on Smith? Oh, you bet it is. Alright. That should do. That's gonna be good to know. All right. Kind of weird because I think in the battle mode you can do like just a equivalency check against the field of flags, but not so much here. Alright, let's put in Unrelenting. Put Browbeat in the draw. Hey, there we go. It worked. The satisfaction of a job well, it's done. And if we draw a card now, it's not hostile, so it just doesn't work. Just draws the card. But you know what? Shouldn't it be 2? I don't know. Yeah, it should be 2 because you're spending a card and an action to get a card back. So in this form, it just sucks. Is it going to be too powerful for common, though? Like, it's going to be almost a must-pick at that point. But the effect isn't that strong. Like, 2 damage is... Maybe if I reduce it to, 1 damage. Yeah, 2 cards, 1 damage. Alright. On the fly balancing. See. For a card in cards do Yeah, this is now worthwhile even without, the incidental damage. What programming language is this? This is Lua. L-U-A. Ah, the captions already got it right in the first place. Good. I was worried that they wouldn't. Lua is kind of like a higher level, not higher level as in more advanced, but higher level as in further away from the processor scripting language. It's fairly popular these days for game programming because it's pretty light and readable, but also it all compiles at runtime, so you can just run the game to test it, and make modifications, close down, make modifications, run it again. It all runs at runtime and runs pretty smoothly if you're not doing anything too crazy. It's also good for doing scripting on the high level for engine logic, not engine logic, but like for like game scripting. You do like C stuff for the engine stuff, and then Lua for like kind of the more esoteric game logic. But this game's entirely done in Lua, and I've spent the last few months learning both it and their engine without any documentation to kind of get a handle on it. Thankfully, Lua files are very readable and easy to modify. Like, it's all basically stored in zips in the game folder, and it just all goes at runtime, so you can just look through the code freely and make modifications yourself even, if you bother to recompile it. But they've added a mod interface so you can add your own Lua files that run. So that's what I'm taking advantage of here. That shouldn't say 2 damage, should it? Oh, that's because I know what I did wrong. I used reference 1 both times when I needed to use reference 2. There we go. Yeah, that could work. Let's just make sure that works as intended. I'm using the debug interface to very quickly get into fights and negotiations and make sure these cards work. Hunting in the hand. Have just a couple of forces. A couple of brushes off. There we go. Yeah. Do that again. Oh, not in there, but oh well.
Sophia.
Hey, it works. It functions in all cases. That's what we like to see. Alright. Gonna call that good. Which I think means I've only got one more common hostility card left. Have entry level knowledge of C. Yep. Yeah, my knowledge of coding prior to this was about a decade ago. I went to college and took some CS courses up to 200, all C and C++, which I feel like C and C++ gives you a pretty strong foundation to figure out kind of other languages, as long as you get some depth in it. But yeah. Like, I've fiddled with Ruby a bit for some RPG Maker projects that kind of fizzled out. And this is my absolute first time working with Lua, but it's not too dissimilar. You know, every language has its own, like, syntax foibles that you've got to learn, or else. But other than that... Oh, did it do damage by default? Was that why it was good? Uh-oh. Did I just completely misread the card? Oh, I think I did. It's a damage card with incidental. Can I get away with that? Yeah, thankfully I'm not having to. I've been working solely on Lua for the past few months, so I haven't had to keep anything straight too much. But hey, that works, huh? What if I were to change that again? That's a bit of formatting I haven't tried before. Huh. This absolutely just works. If it's one, it's a card. If it's multiple, it's X cards. Alright. That's pretty good. Alright, so the original design was this was a damage card, and also a draw, and also incidental damage. That's why it wasn't pure draw. There's kind of a dearth of damage cards to begin with, so I think it needs to stay damage and draw. That's perfectly reasonable. Yeah. On top of, you know, learning how to implement these things by myself, I'm also doing a bunch of game design on the fly. Which is kind of what I went to school for, so. Anyway. Oh, this one creates a modifier. Oh boy. Might as well, it's a complicated thing to get end on. Yeah, I don't do these modding streams super often. I usually do like tabletop gaming and random like game streaming, sometimes co-op, sometimes solo. But just a lot. I do a lot of variety of stuff. But thank you for the follow and thank you for hanging out for a bit. Do appreciate it. Have a good day. Glad to hear it. We're pretty chill here. All right. Trying to be forward thinking here. Oh, that's not the flavor text. Come on. Right, the generic weakness argument. And simmer. This one expends. because it's potentially busted. Just need a quick on-post resolve to add... Oh, nope, not there. Self-negotiator... Create modifier? Yeah. Not X, text. Get a comma in there. All right. We should highlight that. This is our basic kind of artillery dominance engine. It's not going to have an effect on anything that if they're putting up composure, but in that case it should. And it's by itself, it's not going to make any dominance that sticks. But potentially, this could become something a bit more. Oh yeah, that doesn't quite work if its dominance just kind of goes away. Maybe it should be 2. Because the one's going to go away, because they're going to fire at the end of your turn. Gonna have to think about that for a second. Source equals self and damage is greater than 0. I should grab all of that. Attack result. Event handlers. Just grab the whole thing. Come on. Get down here. Then, self-owner, add modifier. Oh, and this should also be firing at the end of the turn. Run into this problem before. On apply, prepare your turn. Anything else? Oh, there should be max resolve as well. Let's say 3. How much does heated do? 3? Yeah, alright then. That should do it. Maybe. We'll see. How do you handle that? Oh, it doesn't actually list the damage in the card or text. And leave that part out of the description. Good to know. All right. Let's try that then. Reset. There's a problem with this, isn't there?
Jotopur.
Add modifier. What? Why is that nil? Oh, I know why. Because I did self-owner instead of self-negotiator. Because I was thinking about the battle and minigame engines interchangeably. Oh boy. Alright. I always do this. This is why you always test. This is why you always test. Just because it gets past the compiler doesn't mean it actually runs. Oh, what did I just call it? Breaking point. Here we go. It generates one and then disappears immediately. So reality, it should be 2. Should be just do 2 stacks. Do some modifications here so that on the start of your next turn you get a net of 1 dominance. It's a bit awkward. If it fired at the beginning of the turn, that would be something, but it kind of wouldn't make sense with the intense, and no other artillery argument works like that, so... Alright, but I think that's, it all works. Actually, let's make sure it works even if it works properly if there's composure in the way. That's good to know.
Sonasuke.
Malasatio.
Oh, that's not how it's supposed to work. Let's try this against a Jake.
Soshatoa.
Pelsati.
Sasope.
Okay, this should not generate any dominance. Wrong. Okay. So should it be and not defended? If I could find where they send that. Oh well, alright. I'm going to assume that's a Boolean. We'll see if it actually is. Or we can look for another example. Is resolving source? Huh. Interesting. Oh, defended is an amount. You want 4 damage campbells per... Oh, defended is the amount. Gotcha. Roger. Damage these is defended is the amount of damage that was blocked versus not blocked. So, if damage minus defended is greater than 0? Specifically, if it causes any resolve loss. Learning things about the engine. Let's go for another Jake. Okay. That should just not work. Ding. Good. Okay. Intended behavior. I wish there wasn't this huge block of text when you select that card. But I suppose that's the territory it comes with when you have a card that can get you 3 cards. Probably why they limited it to 2 in the first place. Oh well. Okay. Well, I'm gonna call that good, which means we have all common cards for the pool. Which means I'm 15 out of 40 for the 15 out of 40 for the negotiation card pool, because I've got 15 commons, 15 uncommons, and 10 rares. This is all the stuff you made. This is potentially at least the prototype for Arint's card style. Negotiation cards anyway, and then of course there's all the battle cards I made over the past couple weeks. That's gonna be a whole thing. But almost halfway there now on the negotiation cards, and I moved all business to uncommon, so I don't even have to do that one now. Ugh. All right. Well, that'll do it for this impromptu modding stream. Oh. Got plenty more to go. But soon, I will be able to recruit testers to actually play the campaign and the brawl, and one of the brawls anyway, and actually give all this a shot. So, looking forward to that. But for now, I'm tired, and I'm probably going to be doing more of this tonight. Try and get it. I mean, apparently some of them were easier than I expected. The scope of the negotiation cards is a lot more narrow. So I might actually be able... I mean, there'll be some tricky ones to figure out, but I might actually be able to get this done maybe by tonight? Maybe tomorrow morning? And then we're kind of off to the races then, because then the game can actually be played. Not just with a debug deck from the preview build, but a full thing that presumably, kind of, maybe, works. That's the whole point of the revamp. To weaken the starter deck, but add some more fun and choice to the draft pools. When I initially scoped out this mod, the Arint mod, I initially was trying to keep it very limited to be like, okay, it's going to be like 1 day long. You're going to just have a basic deck that has upgrades. And that'll be your lot, because Arint does not have a whole lot of like animations and ideas to work with, but just enough that it could be fun. And as I got feedback from the preview build, and as I learned more about how to handle this engine, I realized there's not only can I do more, but I kind of have to, because the debug deck kind of has to be broken just to survive in its current state at its high difficulty. And it's very RNG dependent and not terribly like under the control of the player, for better or worse. So this is my attempt to take that feedback and make a better product from it. Even though it's very much expanding the scope, but... Oh, right, I was going to show off, sort of the spreadsheets, wasn't I? The design skeletons and the cards designed from them. I started with this. What's each card's function? What's each card's reason for being? And then I moved on to the names, the damage, the cost, but, you know, what archetype do they belong to? I did this beforehand to all the existing cards in the game. Just trying to figure out, like, well, why are these cards in the game? I mean, like, in ideal scenarios, why would you pick this out of a lineup? Or what is it meant to work with? Not necessarily whether it works well, not whether it's a build around or whatever, but, you know, like, what's it meant to do? And then from there, I tried to track, like, what the archetypes of these cards were, figure out, like, what proportion of them are, like, you know, taking up the card pools as a whole. This is just the draft pools, not even counting, like, the basics or the or item cards or anything like that. And just trying to get a feel for, like, you know, how much of this is in there. And then I applied that to my own work. So, this is kind of what we're working with. And this is, and I'd made a skeleton of 60 battle cards and 40 negotiation cards, just with these basic IDs, and worked my way out from there. And that's how I ended up approaching the card design this time around. This is my first time making a card set, and it's a big, big, big thing. So, yeah. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, that is going to be our broadcast today. Thank you for sticking around and watching. See you next time, I guess.